So basically, yeah, this is BrackCast number 33, talking about prenups and marriage renewals. So this idea came up randomly again from last week. I was watching some just chatting streamers, and there's this one who came up. She's called Sup Caitlin, and she's this, I guess you would say, an attractive Asian female on Twitch who just talks to chat. I guess she games sometimes too, but really she just like she does dating with people in her chat, or she has like tier subs that she goes on dates with, and she talks very openly about her relationships and, well, maybe not relationships, but like her, I guess, like sex life even, apparently.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Very
Anyway,
open,
I
huh?
don't really I mean, I'll click on various ones that come recommended to me because this podcast is just chatting. Sometimes I come on just chatting, so I see a lot of recommended just chatting streamers. And yeah, she's one of them. She has a pretty big following. And I think maybe, she might have increased in her followers after she got breast augmentation, and she's very open about it and she's very proud of it. So that, I mean, it's good. It's good. She's doing well. She's, I think, also, yeah, there's this wave of hot tub pool side type of streams. So, you know, the top Twitch streamers tend to take part in that, and it does well for them. Anyway, she was on Discord or maybe a Zoom date with another Twitch streamer, and it was good banter back and forth for a bit. They're like matching each other's energy and wittiness. It's probably one of the more authentic ones. Usually, when I see any of these channels where a girl sets up this Twitch date or whatever scenario, the guy's always a little bit like nervous, or he's kind of like a little intimidated. I feel like maybe, you know they're like, maybe they're crushing on her, on the girl, whoever the girl is, not just Sup Caitlin, other streamers too. And
Mhm.
so I feel like the female who's also hosting the stream has like a lot of control, has a lot of confidence, and then the guy's just trying to impress her because they set up this thing where if anyone in the chat is watching, they can sub or donate or a certain amount of money, and it could either skip, like that person gets cut from the date and then she moves on to another person, or someone else can pay to have that person stay longer. Anyway, various ways to like collect money to control how the date's going. Anyway, so this guy, witty guy, he's already a successful streamer too. It's good banter back and forth, and they're talking about when they got over the whole sex part. They're talking very openly about how they want to like meet up and like hook up and stuff. Uh, they got into like how much they make, both of them as streamers. They didn't give out like
Oh.
actual numbers, but like the guy
Mm.
was like, yeah, sometimes some months I make this much, but other months I might make very little. And then she's like, wow, that's way more than me. And then, they're flirting back and forth. Then he brings up the subject of like marriage, like, oh, we should just get married or something already. Like,
What the?
well, it's not like a serious gesture. It was like a sarcastic thing, like they're hitting it off. The sexual tension or energy is kind of matching. They're both funny. The chat's enjoying it, and like he's not getting booted off. Like he's doing well. And anyway, so once he mentioned that it seemed like he made more money than her, and then he brought up the subject of marriage. Obviously, the whole prenup thing comes up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, we just got to make sure, we settle all the legal stuff first. Like we go sign the prenup. Obviously this is
Yeah.
also like sarcastic, and it's like part of the joke, right?" And then she's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I'm not signing a prenup." And he's like, "What? Of course we have to. Like, this is like the new thing these days. We have to sign a prenup." And she's like, "Oh no, unless I make more money, I'm not signing a prenup." That's the statement that I heard that caused me to
Oh.
want to talk about it this week, because I mean, that's a huge double standard. Like, she won't sign a prenup, Do you know what a prenup is?
Yeah.
Okay. For anyone out there watching, it's just so you don't have to lose half of your stuff if you divorce from a marriage. Prenuptial agreement.
But it's also debts, yes?
What's that?
It's also does does it have to do anything to do with debts as well?
Uh, you mean like the other person would take on that person's debt too?
Mm.
Over here, oh, apparently in Netherlands, marriages are automatically prenuptial, and you have to sign to not
Oh.
have one. Oh, you have to sign to not have one. Okay, that's cool.
Oh.
So a prenuptial agreement is a written contract created by two people before they are married. Typically lists all the property each person owns, as well as any debts. You're right, and specifies what each person's property rights will be after the marriage. So yes, you're right. So it doesn't like transfer over the other person's debt too if they're in debt, not just their, what they own and their assets. It became so in 2018 apparently.
Yo, can you check when that was enacted into law, that whole automatic prenup thing for the Netherlands? I'd be very
2018.
curious to know. 2018?
Yeah. Tropic Bunny just said so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I dig it. Like I'm for that. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I wonder how like the general public, like how their response to that was.
Yeah. How was the response to that, Tropic Bunny? So, I mean, what do you guys think? Before I continue talking so much, prenup, would you do it?
Actually, the Netherlands is actually like a pretty, what's the term, like Scandinavian, like they're not really ruled by like religion like the East is, right? So marriage isn't necessarily this like whole sacred thing to them. Like this is just me assuming. So I guess that would be more acceptable over there. Whereas if you were to try something like that in like, I don't know, fucking Italy or something, or Saudi Arabia, it might be kind of, ooh,
Okay.
like that
I
would
think I know
never,
what you're
that would
saying. Like
never fly.
you're thinking like over there, maybe the church and state aren't as close as it is here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
According to Tropic Bunny, who's viewing right now, she says not true. She says.
Interesting. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Well, she said I didn't know myself till a friend and I were talking about it, and he told me this was in. Oh, and he told me this, and she was in shock. Maybe, but there are religious people here. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the culture's like over there. But yeah, you're right in terms of Western culture, North America. The church and state are a little too close for my liking. Like
I would,
I
okay,
don't know.
if it was a situation where this is like someone I grew up with and we like were friends or whatever, for mad long years, then I wouldn't sign one, because I would just have that trust built in. However, if it was a
Trust factor.
situation where we're both successful, we're both at a certain stage in our careers, we're both, at the stage in our lives where we're now looking for someone that will be super compatible on multiple levels, and we have like a very specific, thing we're looking for, then it would kind of make more sense because you're already bringing so much to the table, and this other person is also bringing so much to the table. And I feel like they would also, I mean, the example you gave, that girl was like, no, I'm not with it, but I'm assuming generally the other party wouldn't, they would feel a similar sentiment. So I think it would depend, like why you're tying the knot.
What she specifically said was, unless I make more, I wouldn't sign a prenup. So it's basically she will only protect herself if she made more, but if she made less, she'd want to be able to take half from the other guy if they ever divorce.
That's crazy.
That's a huge double standard. Like,
Yeah.
why? I mean, maybe she did it for the sake of controversy, to get people to like rile up in chat. It brought me enough to type in chat. I was like, did she just say she would only sign him a prenup if she didn't make more? Or if she made more? If she made more. And then like other people in chat answered me, yep, she just said that. I'm like, I was in shock, drop jaw, all this stuff. And like people agreed, but she kind of like dismissed it. She didn't want to talk about it more. No one brought it up anymore. The guy kind of like played along with it a little bit further, but I mean, it sounds like we all think that's crazy. Why would a woman be able to make that kind of choice, but the man can't, right?
I see.
Well, have you thought about it?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't think about it, and I never talked about it either, so I don't know.
Well, now you can think about it. You're on the spot. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to, but it doesn't have to be a very specific personal experience, but just the notion of it, like the general nature of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Chat says she's from Curacao, so they don't have automatic prenuptial agreements there, but they're a Dutch colony. She can understand since women in the past had to rely on a man's income. You can understand that, like what she said, that she would only sign if she made more. So if she didn't make more and she relies on the man's income and they divorce, that means she's entitled to take half of the man's, or at least part of the man's. Marriage was a contract between families and to take care of the wife. The wife? In exchange for what? Sorry, I'm also reading chat right now, Sharon.
No problem.
Okay. I'll say growing up, also, because we're very Catholic growing up, Philippines, culture-wise, I never knew about the idea of prenuptial agreements till I was like in high school. I didn't know those existed. So in my head, you make a lifelong commitment, you share everything, like full
I think
transparency,
same.
one bank account type of thing. Well, maybe
Yeah.
even the one bank account thing. You share the bank account, all the money goes
Yeah.
into one, all that stuff. So I thought that was normal. And
Yeah.
then you get older, high school, and then you start watching TV shows and like lawyer shows, and then relationship shows, and then that's when I found out about what a prenup was, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That just means you don't trust each other. Like,
Yeah.
you can't
I think
work.
I felt the same way. I also grew up and like I think I don't even know if there's a thing like those kind of thing in Korea.
A
So
prenup?
uh,
Should I look it up?
'cause like I mean, but like especially like during that time and in Korea was such a different culture too. Like, you rely on the husband's income too, and everything is like half or you have one bank account and then one person takes care of the finance aspect of everything. So when I was in university, I learned about prenup. I didn't even know that thing existed.
Well, I guess now, chat also says, like the woman's responsibility was to bear a child, to like be at home, take care of the family, and have a lot of kids, and the man's responsibility was to make money. So, I mean, again, this was kind of like more of a traditional belief of like the structure of family back then. I guess the man was the breadwinner, and then the woman stays home and takes care of the kids. So obviously she doesn't make money. If somehow divorce, but if you think about it too, back then, divorce wasn't an option, was it? Like when was divorce created? Let's look that up. When was divorce invented? All right. In 1760 BC. The oldest codified law of history of divorce was traced back there during the reign of King Hammurabi in Babylon. Okay, well, I mean, that's pretty old, but still not. It wasn't always. I mean, marriage was probably way. Let's see. Let's look that up. When was marriage invented? 2350 BC. So, for about uh, for about 600 years, marriage existed without divorce.
Oh wow.
And then I guess someone was like, "Screw this! I don't want to be married anymore." Well, uh, maybe that's not true because kings had a bunch of queens, right? Like
Yeah.
multiple queens, and then I guess sometimes they just like drop them. Anyway, doesn't really matter. We're talking about today. present case. Now the woman makes money generally. I mean, not there's still a lot of stay-at-home mothers, which is fine. There's also stay-at-home fathers, which is fine. But nowadays, I guess norm is both a man and a woman who enter a relationship when they start dating likely have jobs and are like fending for themselves. Maybe they even live on their own, and you know, it's not like how back in the day you have one family handing over a kid to another family to match with the, you know what I mean, with the dowries and exchanging of cows or whatever. It's not like that. It was frowned upon to get divorced. For sure, yeah, the church, I don't think the church really accepts, yeah, the church doesn't accept divorce, right? The church somehow, the church obviously welcomes marriage and like promotes marriage, and then the law kind of took that and like, okay, well, we can be part of that, we can legally bind these two people, and then they get all these tax breaks, and it's good for them financially to get married, apparently. I'm not, I don't know. But then, you know, they start, yeah, I guess some people, they get married too young, they don't really know each other, or they change, they grow apart, and then they don't like each other anymore, and they want a divorce. Ren says Catholic Church doesn't believe in divorce. Exactly. And if you're divorced and you want to remarry, like let's say you divorce from your first relationship and then you meet someone else, you want to get married again, you can't get married in a church. Again, because they don't support the first divorce to begin with. So I know that. So yeah, thinking about it now, the way I thought about it before, see, Deji also mentioned it too, the trust factor. He said if it's someone he grew up with and then if they just really got along, they got married, he wouldn't sign one. But then he said, but if it was further in our careers, I had like this established, she was successful and this established, then he would. But what if they still made the same amount of money? Does there have to be a lot of, you know, someone makes a lot less than the other? No input. Deji's probably eating chicken right now.
It can be a little bit tricky. I'm not sure.
I think in terms of the process of a relationship, you know, you build the love first, you build the trust, you know, you start caring for each other to the point where you're like, you know, I'm not just earning for myself, but I'm earning for the both of us or for the family, right? For the future of together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, DayDay's here. What's up?
Hello.
That
Oh.
What's up? DayDay, do you know what we're talking about?
no.
Okay. We're talking about prenuptial agreements and marriage,
Oh, right,
divorce
yes.
/ renewals. Yes. So right now we're on the subject of prenups.
Okay.
You know what it is? You know what it is, right?
Isn't that where like you sign something
Before the marriage.
before you
yeah.
get married
Mhm.
and say like, oh, even if we separate, my money's my money, your money's your money,
Basically. And debt.
Oh.
My debt's my debt.
and
your
debt.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So before, it was all marriage and weddings was all about just the love part. Like you make a promise. I you know, yeah, for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, till death do you part, you know, all that traditional stuff. But now, when you introduce a prenuptial agreement, for richer, for poorer, it doesn't really make, well, You could stay together. I guess it's in the event you get divorced. That's the only thing it really protects. But if you're together, you're always going to be sharing anyway. You're always going to be like, yeah, we have this agreement just in case things go bad. But here we're married, we love each other, we trust each other. It's not an issue, right?
Mm.
Or do you think signing one in a way is a gesture of distrust or mistrust or lack of trust?
I don't think it
I guess.
has. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying. I was just trying to think about it. I think so. I think so.
What?
Like what you said, it can be seen as like a distrust in a way. Yeah.
Okay, chat says, or Tropic Bunny, it was never about love in the beginning. It became so in modern times, then changed now again to be semi-contractual again. Okay, that's true. Right from the beginning, marriage was like an agreement between two families, right? Unless you count like
Yeah.
Adam and Eve, I don't know. But yeah, so like two families are like, all right, let's have our kids come together. Here's some livestock and here's some money. They exchange. Those kids get together. They build a family. At some point, I don't know, people broke away from formality and then it became about the personal interest, love, being able to choose for yourself. It's
Yeah,
usually about
right.
families creating alliances. Okay. So let's just, I get what it was from before. We understand what it is now. Obviously, I do not want my parents to choose for me who to marry and when to start building a family. I don't want people, I don't think in general, at least Western culture these days, people want that anymore. Right? Can we all agree at least there? You don't want our parents to choose.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to choose for yourself. There's the first part.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to marry. Is everyone... Okay, well, I guess this discussion also has to warrant that everyone is also open to getting married. Is there a point to get married? Some people still like the old way. You're right, Ren. I totally agree. If they've adopted like old style culture and they're totally happy with that. Some people are actually... Apparently, arranged marriages have a higher success rating as well. Because I think because of the tradition, they put more effort and they're willing to work together more. It's less about like personal freedoms and like personal choice. It's like you accept the fact that it's like a contractual agreement that you're supposed to stick to that you can't break. But the idea of divorce now is so like... It's like mainstream now. I know people who get married knowing that, well, if things go bad, we could just get a divorce. Like, I don't want to get married thinking that. Old roommate told me about arranged marriages. Yeah.
I don't know if like I don't think a lot of people think about that when they're getting married, unless they're like very, very, really, really realistic. But that is something that you do need to think about. But I guess for me, like I never really thought about it because I wasn't like I didn't grow up with knowing what that was.
Divorce?
And I feel like even when I watch like Korean dramas these days and they talk about like all these like debts that the husband has or the wife has, and then it's it doesn't sound like they have that. Do you know about if they have that in Korea?
Sorry, what? What do they have?
The prenups, like the contract they sign and stuff. Do they have that in Korea? Is there like an option for that? Because I feel like they don't.
There is. It's just people don't really know
They don't
about
do
it.
it.
They don't really know
Oh.
about it. Yeah.
Well,
But
yeah,
it's there.
because it's like a
All
separate
the-
thing.
All the like the super rich like marriages, they always have those.
Oh yeah, I guess that.
Yeah. But not it's not a common thing. Like it's not a knowledge that like average people know of.
Oh.
It's
Fine.
only when they have financial risk.
Yeah.
Fear down the relationship. If you fear down the line the relationship won't work, you're already setting the marriage up to not last, in my opinion, if you bring up a prenup. That's not true.
Yeah.
I disagree with that.
I used to agree with that, and now I don't anymore.
Yeah, just
really?
because
Why not?
Yeah.
because you talking about prenup, I don't think means you're setting up yourself for a failure. It's just so that I think, because anything can happen, right? Like today could be the best day of your life, tomorrow could be the worst day of your life. It's just something that you do to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You're telling me you don't trust me to not? No. That's not what I'm
That's
saying.
not
I'm
what that
saying
is. Yeah.
I'm not saying
I used to
okay.
think that, but I
Like
don't anymore.
like
Yeah.
I think the idea is not it you, the idea of that is not, so it's like, hey, in case you leave me, just remember we have that prenup. It's not something to like use it against you when you decide to leave. It's more so it's just it's you and your family's wealth that you're trying to protect in case an unfortunate event were to occur. It's like an insurance type of deal for yourself, not for the relationship itself.
Mhm.
Maybe it
If
depends
hope that
on
makes sense.
like how serious people think this marriage is. Like if they take it as like, oh, like, I'll get married because I love her or I love him, and then later down goes, becomes bad and they don't want to be together, and then they're just like, okay, we can just get divorced. Then maybe like bringing up prenup and stuff like that is like not that like it's not like challenging, but
It's
if
still
you take it as something very serious, like you can think it like someone can think like, oh, if I don't if I'm marrying this person, like it has to be so serious that there's gonna be a consequence. It could be a consequence when there is a divorce.
it's not a consequence. What's the consequence? That you don't get the other person's money? That's not a consequence.
No,
Right.
if you're making more.
If I'm making more. Oh, okay.
Yeah. If
Right.
you're making more and then you're thinking this is very serious and no matter what, like I want to try to make it work, even though it's like really bad or whatever,
Right.
then
But
they can
what if it's
think,
not your fault? What if it's the other person? Let's say they cheated on you.
yeah,
Then what?
exactly. A lot of
Then you're screwed. You
lot of
just sit there and then you have to support them regardless if you get a divorce or not, right? Like you have to
yeah.
like that's not something. Yeah, no need to get married just for the sake of it. Yeah, I agree. And I understand. That's why I'm saying it's not something. I don't think at this point prenup should be something that, like, if someone were to bring it up, the other person shouldn't be like, "Oh, you don't trust me."
Offended, right? Yeah.
The fact that you say that, "Oh, you don't trust me," means you're trying to, like, I don't know. It seems like what's the point of getting married then? You can just live together. This is also what happens to a lot of couples in the Netherlands. Many don't get married; they just enter a partnership. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's completely an option.
That's completely the
an
same thing
option.
too.
But maybe there are people that want the title of marriage, but also don't want to, you know, like end up with that risk in case something happens down the road, right? That's not something. That's not for you to say. I think this marriage will fail. That's not what you're saying. It's just something to protect yourself in case an unfortunate event were to occur. If it doesn't, then that's perfect. That's great. But I don't think just because you bring up idea of prenup doesn't mean, yeah, of course you're thinking about it. Of course, like if you don't think about it, then you're just setting yourself up for a surprise, and then you have to take the thing of whatever that the thought is there that it could go bad.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
See,
Okay.
that's why.
so
Okay.
so it's not something. Sorry, go ahead. Let me
No,
just say
Go
one more
ahead.
thing,
Go
and
ahead.
then
Go ahead. Yeah.
it's not that I'm preparing myself for the failure, and I'm not always thinking about like I'm not thinking about, oh, what if it doesn't work, so let's get a prenup. That's not the source of the idea of getting a prenup. And just because you get a prenup doesn't mean that there's no point to getting married. Like the title of marriage itself, versus the idea of prenup should be a separate thing, right? Like, I mean, it's you don't set yourself up for it just because you want a prenup. Like it
But
should be a separate.
why would you get if you were to agree of, getting the prenup, what would be the reason of you doing that? If you're
If
saying that it's not about what ifs.
No, it is about what ifs, but that doesn't mean that I'm thinking about the failure. That doesn't mean
You're
that I'm.
so
You're not you're
you're
not you're
saying
not
that because
planning
they're
for the. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not telling myself, okay, just in case before I get married, I'm sure, like the last thing on my mind is, oh, what if this marriage doesn't work out? If you're thinking that way, then I agree. You shouldn't get married in the first place. But if you really love somebody and you want to get married and you want to move on to the next chapter of your life, you can. But the option of a prenup should be a separate topic than that, because that has nothing to do with love. That's just something for you to protect your own assets and your own money and your wealth or whatever that you worked off your entire life before you decided to enter a marriage. I think it's a completely fair thing to do. It's not, and that's not something that should be criticized by saying, "Oh, you're having a prenup. That means you don't trust me and you don't think that this marriage is gonna work." That's absurd. I
Okay,
mean,
so
that's just my opinion, obviously, but sorry,
Dan,
yeah, that's
Dan,
what I wanted to say.
Dan had a great analogy with the seatbelt. You know, you wear a seatbelt when you drive because anything could happen when you get into a car, but you don't wear one expecting that you're gonna get in an accident,
That's perfect. That's
right?
perfect.
Like you get in the car because you need to do stuff and you want to get to from point A to point B. You put on the belt just in case something bad happens, but it's not like you expect something bad to happen. You don't want that to happen, but it doesn't mean you
Yeah.
can't be prepared for it.
Imagine you've been in love with someone for years and they suddenly bring up a prenup to get blindsided by that, to be honest. Why is that a blindside though?
Okay, guys.
Like
Okay, I
marriage
kind of
to me is
I kind of want to explain a little bit of a side story, also why this came up as a topic. So I was watching clips of How I Met Your Mother on YouTube, and Barney, the male, like chauvinist, like the womanizer on the show, ends up building an interest towards this stripper. I forget her name, but she makes a lot of money as a stripper, but he makes a lot of money as I think in his corporate job. So they fall in love and they're really matching each other very well, and then they decide, pretty quickly that they want to get married. And then it comes to the point where they do end up bringing a prenup in their discussion. And then at the very end of the episode or whatever that series, they're like, "Do you trust me?" One person said, "Do you trust me?" And the other person said, "No, I don't. Do you trust me?" And then the other person said, "No, I don't." So that was a very specific, tailored story about the trust issue, which can happen.
Mhm.
It's very true. It can happen. But it's not always, it's not that, I don't think that scenario is the only scenario that can happen. I want to go back to, like, why do you think a prenup was invented? It's usually one person probably making way more than the other. Like it's when we think about marriage growing up, or like as you said, from a friend, if you meet a friend from high school or whatever, generally in our mindset, the social status is probably similar or pretty close in wealth status. The person you're meeting is within your range of experience in life. They're probably within your pretty close to your wealth denomination too, like wealth demographic. You know what I mean? So, but nowadays, you have really rich people. Maybe like, they focus on career, they get really rich, or, and then someone comes along their way. Maybe they're at, they meet someone with a very different career. I'll just use, for example, someone very corporate versus an artist, like the starving artist. But they fall in love. But then you hear about all these warnings that also family comes up. Families are like, "Oh, you should." But you know what? I'll bring my personal example, guys. Dominican. What happened to me? where I meet someone there.
Oh, you're gonna talk about this? Okay.
Why not? Why not? I meet
Yes,
someone in the
yeah.
Dominican,
All right, go ahead.
and we fall for each other. I come back here, and now the focus is like, oh, okay, all right, man. Well, the plan is I have to bring her here. I'm gonna have to earn for her and her kid for us to build a family. It's all gonna rely on me. I the same lawyer friend actually who brought up the idea of marriage renewals. He has a similar like experience, and he was like, well, yes, you know, this is a common thing that does happen, and it's not always going to be the 90-day fiance scenario. But obviously, you can imagine if any of you guys found out, or at some point, if this relationship actually reached that point where marriage was in question, you know, my family and all of you would be like, "F, you're gonna sign a prenup, right?" otherwise, you know, what if I'm being duped that she's coming here just to get here, to get the visa or to get into the country, and then she leaves me when she gets here? Because that happens. Doesn't mean I don't feel like, doesn't mean that my feelings are disingenuine and I don't trust her. And it would she, if she knows too that her heart is there and that she was going to be completely faithful, she shouldn't have an issue signing it either. Why would she even, like, you know, risk not even having the opportunity to come here for the sake of pride of not being able to sign a document? That's why I mentioned being blindsided.
Yeah, like it's all about opinion, right? Like if also you got to think about like the perspectives too. Like it's easy to say like hey, if you bring up prenup, you're supposed to work out the marriage no matter what problems you have in the future. I agree. That's why people get married, but it's not like people get into marriage planning that they're gonna cheat on somebody. They don't
Exactly.
people don't get into relationships planning that they're
Well,
gonna
some do
you
though.
know. Okay, but that's a very like that's not the case that we're talking about. I'm talking
Well,
about
that's
the
what
average
prenups were probably were created.
right, like yeah, but some do. But that's what I mean, right? Like people don't, in general, people don't go into these marriages and commitments planning to cheat and then planning to like discard once like they don't like something or like that. Like that's not the general consensus of why people get married. And despite that, you know, things happen in life, and like it's all about perspective. Like when I say about these cheating and stuff, like Tropic Bunny, right? Everyone's reason for getting married isn't the same. Exactly. So like in the case of this like I don't want to put you on the spot, but like imagine if you got married, right? And you made more than your husband. Like by like a far like there's a huge gap. Let's just pretend. But
Yeah.
you know, you guys love each other and you guys get married and you guys live your life, you know, 5 years, whatever. You guys have kids, you guys, it's perfect. All of a sudden you find out that he's been cheating on you for the past 3 years. God forbid it doesn't happen, but let just for the just to bring up the topic in discussion. If that happens to you personally, you would try to work that out, even if he's cheated on you for the past however long, with when you have a kid with him and stuff too. I mean, if the answer to that is yes, then there are other ways to solve that problem. Okay, so if your solution,
what are these ways? Yeah.
no, but like I'm not keeping him.
Exactly.
So okay, so you are gonna go through divorce, right?
But if you drop him, you didn't sign that prenup.
But if you drop him and you don't sign that prenup, now half of your shit is his.
Yeah, he takes your stuff.
Like you're gonna let him get away with that, and that's okay with you? I just it's this the reason why I bring up this extreme topic is not where I'm from.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, apparently she's got special.
If you live in a country where
Special
women is
cases.
more favored than men, then that's great. That's perfect for you. You can keep your value of not signing.
It's
prenup,
true. She has the
period.
kids.
Yeah, that's fine.
The kids is a big thing too. So like,
He won't get shit if he cheated. Right. So I'm just saying we're talking about this topic in I'm assuming in North America standards, right? So if that were to happen to you in North America, would you and he kept your half. He gets your half. Like how, like wouldn't that make you feel like, oh shit, I should have signed that prenup? I'm not talking about where you live right now. I'm talking about the idea of prenup and also
Yeah.
how it applies in America, right?
Well, yeah,
If you were in our shoes,
she's saying he will have to pay child support. Yeah, but he'll be paying it with the
yeah,
money
but he'll
he
be
took from
paying
you.
with the money that you got because the idea of marriage in
Yeah,
North America
yeah,
is
Dan said
if
it.
you get a divorce, everything is split in half, no matter what.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what happens.
Cheated
It may,
is
it
yeah
doesn't matter if he
is
cheated,
unfaithful. But a
if he's
divorce
if
without
he
a
all of a
prenup,
sudden,
yeah,
yeah, it doesn't matter if he cheated. It doesn't matter if he hid the fact that he was actually gay the whole time. Like it doesn't matter, right?
yeah,
So if you get a divorce, no matter what, it's 50-50. That's how the system is here. And that's why we're talking about this idea of court. He ain't getting half. It's okay.
All right, then I
Okay.
think you should consider prenups if you ever decide to get married.
Okay, if you I'm not talking about where you live, right? I'm talking about like the prenup and how it's applied here and how marriage is applied here. And I'm trying to ask you to put yourself in the situation
In that
of
scenario,
here.
yeah, not your
I
specific
don't I'm
personal
not
one.
yeah, I'm not asking for the rules are where you live and whatever. I'm just talking about how you would feel or how you would react. But but does that? Yes, it does. Everywhere, including US,
North America,
Canada,
I'd say,
everywhere.
yeah.
North America, that's how it works. Divorce, it doesn't matter what the reason, it's 50-50.
Yeah, because when you enter the
Yes. Yes, I
when you
know. That's
enter
why we're pro well, that's why I'm talking about. See that I understand now why there's a huge difference in, the view about the
expectation,
prenup.
yeah,
Yeah.
perception, yeah.
So that's how it's applied here and that's I feel bad for y'all. Yeah, well,
You
you
should
don't
double
have to
check.
because
You
that's
should
what
double
we have
check for
prenup.
y'all too. I feel like you still need to double check that too. It might not even be written there, but if
You
you
don't
think
need to feel
about
bad.
and there's the thing too. It's like, well, if you don't want to go through finances or you want to even consider signing a prenup, why get married at all? It's not even just getting the title of marriage. If you are, let's say, faithful and religion is important to you, and part of you makes maybe wanting to have kids according to your religion or faith requires you to be married, that's one reason to get married. Or another reason is if you feel that like kind of obligation and tradition from your parents. Your parents want you to get married before you have kids, or your parents want you to get married and you want to honor them. You don't have to. Obviously, these days, a lot of people are totally fine with common law, or they decide they're totally cool with not getting married. They don't have to sign a prenup. What's theirs is theirs individually anyway. There's no like half thing. I don't really understand what happens with common law, actually. I know it's you're technically married common law, but you don't even need a divorce if you want to leave each other. And I don't think there's any kind of splitting involved. What I've seen on TV from the US, the man never gets anything when he cheats.
That's not true.
That's TV.
That is 100% false. That is
Yeah.
100% false.
So, what I was saying, I used to think that too. Like it challenges the trust between two people. And Dan's very right. If you become blindsided about a prenup, that means you guys weren't talking about it for a while, and that's just lack of communication. It's something you obviously talk about a lot before even considering. Well, you're probably talking about wedding first, marriage, because you're super in love, and then when you start actually planning everything out, like property and like living together, or maybe getting a home, and then you talk about wealth, or who's going to stay at home, or who's going to have to take care of the kid more, or whatever, based on who makes more. All of this stuff comes into conversation when you're going to get married, and then the prenup comes into that discussion. It doesn't mean you still can't get married. Let's say you decide, okay, let's sign a prenup. Worst case scenario, let's say something happens, or we grow apart, or maybe we just change as individuals chemically in our brains later on in life. We hate each other. We have this to protect each other. It's not even just to protect me, it's to protect the other person too. Because if, let's say, I make more first, and then I marry a woman, and then over time in that relationship, she ends up making more than me, and she builds her success, and then I start like, you know, gambling and losing all my money, and then I build debts, right? And then at the end, when we are like all pissed, she's obviously upset that I'm a gambler and then I'm a drunk and then I don't take care of the finances and I don't take care of the family. She wants a divorce. She has that opportunity and that option to, without having to worry about losing everything she built while she was in the marriage. It's not like you assume that if you have more before the wedding, you're gonna always have more after the wedding. It's, you know, things can change. Things can change after between before and after in the marriage. Older you get, the faster that conversation comes up. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the more money you make too, the faster you want to bring that up.
Yeah, and
If-
I just learned something. If you don't want to deal with the whole half and half crap, move to Netherlands.
Yeah, or maybe it was Curacao. Who knows?
Now I know.
But okay, and then yeah, there's apparently tax breaks. There's some financial benefits to getting married. I feel like you get taxed less or something like that, right? And then maybe you have
Yeah.
better buying power. You can get a better mortgage if you have like I don't know what it is, but like there's obviously again,
if you're married and you have kids, you get taxed the least. At least that's how it is here.
right.
Like
Yeah.
the worst people is single with no house. So like by like legal standards of what I mean, not, you know,
Incentives, that's the tax incentives, yeah, to
Yeah.
get married. They want you to get married because obviously a lot of money goes to the system too when you get married too.
Yes.
David, no, actually, yeah, I feel like he would too. Destination wedding in Netherlands. If you don't want to talk, prenup.
That's smart. That's smart. I like that.
Okay, so again, it's not like I'm gonna look into getting married in the future with divorce in mind, but a prenup seems kind of just the responsible thing to do now. And as long as the communication is open between two people for a while, it shouldn't be about, it's not that I don't trust you. It's not that I don't trust you. If that persists to be like an arguing factor between two people, trust keeps coming up when you bring up prenuptial and you don't see eye to eye to that, maybe you're not as compatible as you think. Maybe you shouldn't get married. Maybe that's not the person for you if you don't see eye to eye in that, you know?
I mean, if before getting married, if your wealth is relatively similar, then I
Yeah.
don't really see the need. But if there's a big gap, then
Yeah, gold diggers, right?
then I think it's fair to get it done. Just because it's not like you're like, okay, like on the other side of, like, for someone to not, I'm not bashing on Tropic. Like, I understand completely now why it's that kind of view, but figuratively speaking, let's say like I don't know, Bob, or sorry, that's a guy's name,
I agree with Ren.
Karen. Let's say like a random girl, like, and she says stuff like, oh, because there's a huge gap between us, our wealth, you know. But then the guy wants to get a prenup, and then he goes, oh, it's not because I don't trust you. And she goes, oh, you think this marriage is not going to work out? It's like, no, I'm just trying to, you know, protect my assets or whatever. But then if you look at it from the other perspective, like, you could turn that around and be like, well, are you trying to get married so you can hit a jackpot? Like, you know what I mean? It's it's a matter of perspective, right? So
Like look at all these celebrities. You know, like
yeah.
Beyonce and Jay-Z. I mean, one of them makes more for sure, but they both make quite a bit. So I guess you would say maybe they're in that same kind of wealth level, but I bet you they both signed prenups. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure they would have signed a prenup, that marriage. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, I'm gonna say probably. NBA stars and I don't know, whoever they meet. I remember seeing that on like Instagram, or it was like it was like an Instagram story. This guy talks about how he builds this relationship with this, I don't know if it was like a dancer or a cheerleader or something, and they start saying they're in love, but he brought it up last minute too. He brought up the prenup kind of as a out of nowhere. But then again, you got to think about this, like that build up scenario. You know, you have like a multimillionaire, and then who's a star, a celebrity, and then you have all these girls after you, but you fall for one, and then you don't know what all of their initial objectives were, and then yeah, you blindside them with the prenup, and some people will run away from that, and they won't even. Yeah, one guy was totally this basketball player. I don't remember seeing it Instagram. He was totally in love with this woman. He was totally ready, and he actually brought up the prenup ahead of time. Sorry, it wasn't even blindsided, and she just kept putting it off, putting it off. She doesn't want to sign it. She didn't want to sign it, and then I think like on the wedding day, he's like, "All right, finally." And she's like, "Don't worry, I'll sign it on before on the wedding day or whatever." And she refused to sign it on that wedding day, and he had to cancel the wedding, the day of the wedding,
Yeah.
because she
Yeah, I
canceled.
remember that Instagram video. That was viral for a while.
That was some NBA player. I remember that.
Yeah.
Finance is great. Yeah.
Are
Okay.
there any advantages of Are there any advantages of signing to married?
Huh?
Like, is it just like the contract about 50-50, whatever, but sorry, not 50-50. Like keeping your own like money and whatever when you divorce. Are there any other benefits or advantages that come with prenup?
I think that's it.
like the biggest.
That's
thing
it,
that-
right?
I think
Yeah,
that's it.
pretty much.
And it's huge.
I mean, I'm sure you can add like whatever conditions you want in there too, but it's mostly about finances.
Oh, I see. I
yeah,
was
it doesn't.
just telling Mike, and then he said he's like, maybe there's other benefits.
No, I think that's it. It's really just that what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours, and it just honors that.
Mm.
But if you think about it, that only happens at divorce. It doesn't mean that's what happens when you're actually still married, living. You can still have that one
Right.
bank account together. You can still earn
Yeah.
and like pull from the same money pool. Everything's shared. Everything's transparent. But it's only
Yeah, it's only when
when
you're getting divorced.
some shit happens and you have to get divorced. Then you're like, all right,
Mhm.
well, who made this? Who made this? Okay, well, this is mine. This is the house probably gets divided, or whoever bought the house or whatever. I mean, it's still ugly. Don't get me wrong. It's like expensive. A lot of legalities to divorce. Obviously,
Yeah.
the state doesn't want you to get divorced, but I mean, if you want to, it's expensive, so they'll take your money for it.
Does it apply the same if you become a widow?
No. If you're a widow,
Really?
you're still well, all of that becomes yours unless they have it a will. Like that's when a will matters. Like, but if your partner dies, I think the partner gets everything, right?
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that.
the name. Benefits
If your
also.
partner dies, you get everything.
Right?
Even if you signed up prenup.
Yeah, because it's not divorce.
Because it's not divorce.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
You're planning on killing someone.
I mean, hey, yo, that's the subject of a lot of murder mysteries too. Like the
To
insurance.
anyone who's watching this, please do not get that idea. That is a horrible plan, and it's not gonna work out, and you'll end up in
What
jail.
if you're a widow? Mike, watch out. Could protect financially weaker partner. Could ensure alimony and assets, etc. Or has it in the will for a prenup once he dies. Has it in the will for a prenup once he dies. Well, I don't think you
But
could do that.
prenup it's before marriage.
Both parties
it has
have to
be
agree.
Before.
Yeah, and both parties have to agree
Yeah.
too. Okay. Well, yeah. Does anyone have any? I don't know. Has that changed your view on it, Sharon, at all? Or like, do you think you'd be more open to discussing that? I'm not saying specifically with who, but I mean just in general.
Oh, he was joking. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she wrote LOL, but I get it. So yeah, I think, it's a sensitive topic. Whoever brings it up first will probably have a little bit of that, oh, how could you ask me that? But at least I'm now, the more I think about it, if the girl does bring it up, let's say I strike it rich, and I end up being like, you know, I the gold digger as the artist, and then the woman I end up with is like, I don't know, super rich baller, and then she brings it up. I don't think I'd be like, how dare you? Like, you don't trust me? You know, I feel like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you, for sure. Sugar mama, exactly. That's like my dream. Miss Independent Sugar Mama. So DayDay, you thought you always believed in it, or like was that something you learned about later on in life too, and you're like, you know what, this makes sense.
No, I think when I first heard about it, like I'm pretty sure I first heard about it by like some celebrity marriage or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I found out, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." That was it. Like it wasn't something like, "Oh my goodness, I found this like
No,
thing
yeah.
that's gonna get me out." Like, no, I don't care, dude. If I get married, then I get married. I mean,
But you wouldn't bring it up?
unless my partner's not working and they're making no income and they've saved up nothing and they're in like debt. If that was the case, then yeah, I would bring it up. But I wouldn't marry someone like that in the first place anyway. So I'm
Can
cool.
can I ask? Okay, so I was just talking to Mike about getting prenup or not,
What's up, Deji?
Yo,
and then now we're arguing now because
Why are you arguing?
he's because well not arguing, but Mike is saying that I'm like when you guys were saying it's not about the stress and stuff, I didn't say anything because I was kind of like thinking similar to Tropic Bunny. Is it Tropic the Bunny?
Yeah.
Where
Uh-huh.
she's, you know, like, because I told him like, I don't want to get prenup, and then he's saying like because now you're saying that you don't want to get prenup. Now I want to get prenup. That's what Mike said, and then I said I don't want to get prenup because I know that I'm not gonna get divorced. And no
Yeah.
matter what, like if you cheat on me, I'm not gonna get divorced. There are different ways to deal with things like that, but you know, that's a different topic. But I said either whatever happened, and then he said, "Well, it's just in case something happens." And then I said, "Give me an example of what this something is," because you talked about the example of cheating,
Mhm.
or what else? That was it, right? Like cheating.
Mhm.
Give me another example where I don't like.
Okay, you
Where
ready?
something happens is
Okay, you ready?
yes.
I know at this very present moment you don't think any crazy thing could happen. Like, there's no way you'd break away and consider divorce. I'm like that too. It's like in my head.
Say that.
No, I know. I'm saying though, even in my head, if I'm getting married, I will never consider divorce as an option. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Be like, work it out no matter what. Okay, but maybe if they cheat on you, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't even ever be fearing that they'll cheat on you because you trust them so much. They would never cheat on you. But let's just say, for some reason, you know, as you're getting older, I don't know.
penis stops working.
No, well, let's just. Not, but let's say for some reason a mental thing happens out of your control, or something happens to you where now all of a sudden your psyche kind of gets altered and you become like evil, or like, or maybe the other
Evil?
person.
Like me?
Well, it could be you, it could be the other person, but it's just not who you married. The person who you expected to like commit yourself life to, that person has changed due to some, you know, it could have been like a natural disaster.
They became
or like,
evil?
well, not evil, but you know what I
I'm
mean,
just
right?
trolling with you.
Like, you
Yeah,
just start,
I'm just
they're
messing.
like, maybe, I don't know, it could be addiction. Maybe they get put into like drugs, and then they can't break the addiction, and then because of the addiction they introduce more like, you know, bad habits of like, you know, spending money on drugs, and then maybe alcoholism, and then now they're destructive, and then they're like, they go down this spiral of a hole And no matter
Mm.
how much hard you've tried, all it is just it's just
Compromises the integrity of the relationship.
well, yeah, like you just
Causes
can't trust
harm.
this person
Yeah.
anymore, right? And it's not even
Mhm.
like oh, they can't take care of themselves, I should always still be there and try to help them. Well, no, at this point they're just a different person, and they're just yeah, they're just a different person. People can change in
Mhm.
like 5 years,
Oh
10
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And yeah, if they don't care about you anymore, they don't love you anymore, that could just
Mhm.
be enough reason for them to not want to be with you anymore. Something like that.
I I don't think I ever thought in my life where um like how do I explain? And I never thought like that being with someone is easy. And when you talk about things that are like unexpected, um I don't think that's going to make me think that like that I want a divorce if I thought of marrying this person in the first place.
Hmm.
Okay,
So
but
like when you give me like these examples, it's like it's obviously possibility, and but I don't think about it obviously, but it's like life. So I don't know, like I don't think that's going to make me feel like
You're not being naive when you go into these things.
yeah, because it's marriage.
Well, here,
Because
okay.
you're marrying this person to spend the rest of your life with, right?
Hmm.
And even if you're alone, you can go through these things by yourself or with your surroundings.
Hmm.
So if I'm thinking I'm gonna marry this person, I would think these things are like kind of like not expected, but like it wouldn't be like unexpected either.
yeah, that's exactly what I said earlier. People don't go into these marriages assuming that something bad is gonna happen.
Planning for failure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah, so
obvious.
then I wouldn't even get married at all in the first place.
Yeah.
Huh?
Remember, a prenup
Yeah,
isn't planning to use the prenup. Like,
I
if you
know
think
it's an
about it,
option.
it,
It's an
it
option
only,
when you it's the option that you have when when you know when if what if you need to get divorced because of whatever the reason, right?
yeah, like it only comes into play if you get divorced. But in your mind, you're never going to get divorced anyway, so what's the harm in signing it?
Yes.
Well, in your mind, you're
Signing
saying,
the
why
documents
sign it
became
if it's never going to
automatically
happen? But
prenuptial.
then at the other
Yeah.
side, why not sign it
Yeah.
if it's never going to happen anyway? If it makes the other person feel safer, is that not even enough reason to sign something if the other person feels safer with it? You know you're not going to divorce this person anyway,
Mm,
but that person's going to feel
yeah.
more confident about the trust. It's not even like you don't trust me enough. Oh, I trust you enough that I would sign it. I know you can trust me enough that I would sign it. I would actually leverage it more like that. It's like you
Really?
ask
Then the other way around?
that if someone asked me to sign a prenup, right? They make more money than me and they ask me to sign a prenup, I'd be like, I, I wouldn't be like, oh really, you don't trust me? I'd be like, yeah, no problem. I trust you that much that I will sign it.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about like trust with prenups.
So what is it?
It was more like I don't know. Like I wasn't thinking about trust at all. I was just thinking about how you guys were giving those examples, and then I thought, well, if I know, if like if these things happen, and then eventually like I'm gonna get divorced and whatever, and there's an option to get divorced, then I wouldn't really want to get married in the first place.
Yeah, it's true. I wouldn't
So
ever get married thinking that divorce was an option. I hate that
right.
when people think that way, I hate that. Like I don't. It's like why get married anyway if you think you have an out? It should be a lifetime kind of a commitment, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
According to whom?
That's a personal thing though. It's everyone has a personal it's a part of your own personal faith.
According to my personal view, Deji.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like,
Because you know what, dude? Like, okay, I'm not gonna like rule like this isn't a race thing, but having witnessed a higher wealth demographic of people getting married, okay, I'm just gonna say it out, like the Jewish community, they generally have a lot of money built in with the families, both individuals. And there's a lot of also parental and familial pressure to get married. Like, it's tradition. You get married before you have kids and you build the family, right? So there's a lot of that pressure for these individuals to satisfy their family. So they choose to get married. They have the kids. And soon as the kids get old enough where they're independent, they're like, now I have the option if I want to divorce or not, because now I don't have to take care of these kids. I've met the familial like tradition expectation. I've done what my parents and my grandparents want. Now I can live my life. So a lot of divorce happens later on after their kids have grown up. It's sad. I don't like looking at it like that, but I know a lot of people get married for, in my personal faith kind of a thing, the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I'm missing a lot of this chat.
are those the wrong reasons though?
I think,
Yeah.
well,
Why is it
yeah.
the wrong reason?
I think marriage should be a decision between the two people getting married. It shouldn't be factors based on other people's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm,
that's tough, man.
that's
Because like
tough. Yeah.
you go back to the origins that you guys were talking about, and it was about like uniting families, right?
Yeah.
So it was never
Mhm.
about the individual for some cultures. It was like,
Yeah.
yo, this is about the group effort, you know, and that also ties into a lot of like just how societies are built in general. It's like it's not about the individual,
Yeah.
it's about okay, how can we come together and make this beneficial for the group, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm.
it's like a double-sided coin thing because you can have both sides of that argument.
Well, I know what you're saying. If the two people getting married adopt that, are still willing to hold on to that tradition back then of the familial thing and like community thing, and that's their personal faith and that's what they want to believe in, that's still their choice to follow that. You know, they're not going to think divorce is part of that equation if they're thinking that way. If they feel pressure, they don't want it, but they feel pressure, that's different, right? Like two people don't want to get married, but they're feeling the pressure from family.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be
Tough.
in that situation.
Tough.
DayDay, you want to give me a summary of what I'm missing in chat?
No, we're just talking about, how if well, it was just a joke, but like once like regardless of the prenup, once your partner gets a life insurance on you, that's when you need to be careful.
Right. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
And I was
It's
just
true.
making a joke how like they don't cook, but then all of a sudden they start cooking for you.
Ah, by the way, this fried chicken tastes horrible. I did a horrible job.
What?
I gotta try again.
Oh,
Dude,
you
it's-
made fried chicken?
Yeah.
Like from
DayDay,
scratch?
Deji,
Yeah.
it's Thursday. Popeyes, you get a 3-piece for $5.40, $5.50.
Yeah, but I was like, man, I feel like I can like just make the shit. I should be able to make it. So I'm trying
Well-
to like get the
well-
recipe right.
Well, now that you've been proven wrong, you should get Popeyes next time.
Yeah, did you have it?
I
Wait,
got Popeyes last time.
did you do air fryer
like,
or
man, I
did
could
you
probably
deep
make
fry it? Did you try to deep fry it or air fry it?
Deep fried it, and I think the batter was too thick. Batter just tastes like gum. Like the chicken skin just tastes like gum,
Ugh.
Oh, it's undercooked.
right? No, it's just like too much flour, too much dough.
Oh, okay.
Fucked it up, man. I'll try again. Don't worry.
You should
then I'll
try
bring it to-
double frying.
Double fried.
So
It's really good.
Deji, have
Oh,
you
true,
ever
true.
tried Korean fried chicken?
Probably.
Okay, so
Um,
that's a no. Because if you're saying probably, that means there's
You
no
don't
way you
remember the
forget.
You
Yeah,
don't
there's
know.
no way you
Yeah.
forget Korean fried chicken, bro.
Oh yeah. Eh?
So next time I visit, let's get some Korean fried chicken.
Bet.
yeah.
I've had the katsu chicken, the
That's-
breaded
that's-
stuff, like the Japanese
That's
stuff.
Japanese.
Katsu's Japanese.
And
It's
it's
not Korean.
double fried, yeah.
Come on,
Or maybe
man.
it is. Maybe it is. It's a different batter though. Okay, guys.
Mm.
Sorry, but Sharon, I know you looked at your question was based off of like, well, yeah, it's never gonna happen. There is no need for it, right?
Yeah.
Like divorce is never gonna
I-
happen. Therefore, there is no need for a prenup. Correct?
Yeah.
So you do you still have any kind of like reservations for that?
You know why I said that was because like ever since like Mike and I started dating, whenever we talked about marriage, he always said, when I get married, I'm never gonna get divorced, so it has to be very, very serious. It has to be considered very seriously, and
Yeah.
you know, here we are now. And then when I'm like, okay, well, if we're not gonna get divorced because you're telling me that's how you think, then we don't need to sign prenups. And then he's like, well, just because you said that, now I want to sign prenup.
I think Mike's just being. I think Mike's just
Fuck.
trolling you.
I wonder if he's
No.
trolling. I don't
I don't
know
think he.
actually, but
I don't
It's
think he's
just
being serious.
it's just like, what if? Because like he was listening to you guys, and now he wants to sign prenup.
oh.
Mike,
well-
stop being so easily convinced.
Well,
man.
I mean, it like I said, I think it's a thing that, you know, your family doesn't teach you about it really growing up. It's a value kind of
Yeah.
that you either learn on your own with wealth, or it becomes an issue once you understand the wealth disparity between you and the person you're going to get married, and other people see it. And if it's, you know, or even potential, you know, like, yeah, even potential. Let's say LeBron and his girlfriend, before he made it to the NBA, right? They decide they want to get married, and then LeBron blows up. You know, it protects LeBron if that, you know, something like that.
Protects.
I just think the older I've gotten, and the more money has become not a focus, but like something that I pay a lot closer attention to. It makes sense, and I don't think it should be a level of offense to with, you know, I mean, the Tropic Bunny kind of scenario of saying that like blindsided trust issue, why get married at all? I don't think it's that either. It's like, you know, yeah, it's more like that seatbelt. It's the seatbelt scenario. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was a very good example. But I still feel if I picture myself signing it like before marriage, I think I'll be a little bit sad.
I think that's,
I don't know
and there's
why.
nothing,
but
I don't think that's wrong. I think it's because of how we were raised to understand what marriage was like. I think that's honorable. It's honorable to feel sad. I don't think I'm going to be proud to sign a prenup.
Oh, okay.
It's more like this is the right thing to do. It's a responsible decision. It's not like a, hey guys, check it out. Yo guys, I'm not going to put it in my Instagram story, sign my prenup today. It's like, I'm not gonna share it with the world. But like, it's a responsible thing to do, I think. Okay. I think the second part was this whole marriage renewal thing, because now that we've talked at length about trust, divorce, getting married for life. So this came up with a lawyer. He deals with a lot of people who get divorced, a lot of separations. He deals with prenups. He deals with all the legalities when you don't sign a prenup, right? And he's like, he thinks marriages should not be for life. He
Who is
thinks
this?
that a lawyer friend of mine. That's all I can say. I don't want to call him out.
Oh, it's somebody that you know personally.
Yeah, someone that I know personally, a lawyer. Very
Says
very
marriage
good
shouldn't
lawyer.
be
It shouldn't be for life. It should be something, well, legally. It shouldn't be a legal thing for life. You can still promise for life, but he thinks in about 3 or 5 years, you can have the option to renew it legally. Like your license, like your driver's license. Like,
Interesting.
so like you say, when you get married, you're still going to be like, you know, for better, for worse, till death do us part, blah, blah, blah. But in 3 years, if you guys want to stay married, you have to go back into the legal office and renew your marriage. And that's how you, yeah. No, not the vows.
Well-
the actual legal document that you're married.
So, and then
Really?
if you don't do that, what happens?
The divorce can happen and you don't even, yeah, the divorce can happen and you don't have to deal with all the fees of divorce law.
What?
Oh.
Because right now, divorce is very expensive. And a lot of it breaks up families, and at the end, let's say one of the individuals can't even like barely take care of themselves, or like, you know, the kids are really at a very big disadvantage. You know, he says it just costs way too much, and it breaks people not just apart, but breaks the individuals down too. Like people just, it
That's
takes years to bounce back from divorce for some people, and let's say they're good people, but they just,
that's why you
yeah,
signed prenup.
well, yeah, you could do that too, but that you maybe you don't even need
It's
to
an
do that.
interesting it's an interesting idea, but I think that just gives more sorry. I think if that were to be like applied like in reality, if that happens, I think there would be more there would be a huge increase in divorce rates if that were to get
Well,
implemented.
divorce wouldn't
Because
exist anymore.
well, I mean like separation, what I mean like feel like the separation of the marriage. I think that
Right.
would happen a lot more because by law you are forced to rethink about your marriage when you didn't even have an idea in the first place. Like what if everything was going well, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, my third year's coming up, and then you start it can plant you ideas that you didn't even, you
Yeah,
know.
but if you love the person, it wouldn't.
Really, you really,
Well,
if the
think
choice
about
is there by
think
law, you think you won't think about that?
think about renewing your driver's license. Every time you have to renew your driver's license, do you reconsider driving?
That's a separate thing because that's just you. It's not with the two with another person that like legal binding with somebody else that you're living with, right?
Okay.
That's
Well,
not
even
a good example, dude.
even a mortgage, if you have a joint mortgage with somebody, like that's a fixed term too that you can renew after a certain amount of years if you want to renegotiate. But I guess it's not,
Yeah, but
but it is
that's
multiple people.
uh-huh.
But if you think about it, like you get married when you're, let's just say 22, 23. Two people under 23 years old. They get married, they're like, all right, for life. This is going to be for life. And, you know, they're faithful, they're good people, they're good individuals. But, like, you don't know. 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, things change. Maybe they want to go separate ways. Somebody wants to move to a different country, or maybe someone wants to try a new job or wants to go back to school, or maybe like their
Mm,
priorities are different. And then you have to rethink all these things.
mm.
And it just, it like, and staying married may not be cohesive to what both people want. It's not to say that you stop caring for each other or whatever, but like, or opposite, 23 years old, and then 3 years later, 26, we're doing awesome, everything's perfect, let's renew. Like, you'll be happy to renew the marriage together. And then 5 years later again, yeah, we're wonderfully happy. You're not gonna start like looking at your life and like, am I, if you are, that's not a good sign. If you're starting to reconsider if you're happy after 3 or 5 years, then something is wrong.
Like
Something is
yeah,
wrong
like
then,
let's say
right?
like I'm not saying that you start planning it. Like
Yeah.
let's say 3 years is coming up and then all of a sudden you get into this huge fight.
Yeah.
Like just unfortunate, right? Timing
Yeah.
is just unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit you, man. It's gonna start like putting ideas into your head and be like, man, like, do I
But
want to continue? Like that's what I mean. Like if that option wasn't there,
uh-huh.
I think you would be more prone to try and like work it out instead of trying to take the easy way out. That's what I'm trying to
But
get at.
if you get that huge fight, let's say this whole renewal thing didn't exist, and everything's normal the way it is right now, and then you get in a huge fight, and you're
Mm-mm.
like, I want a divorce. That could happen still anyway.
Yes, it can, but the possibility of you thinking about divorce compared to this 3 year renewal thing that you have a choice to separate if you choose to, those two are different scales, right? Like divorce is a different beast than this every 3 year like separation renewal thing.
Okay, let me kind of remodel. It's not really a remodel, but what I meant to say, the marriage itself, the wedding in the church, the faith in the way the church looks at the marriage, that's for life. The way you
Mm.
view it faithfully is for life.
Mhm.
Only the legal aspect of it is the part that you have to just renew. So you still make, you know, the wholehearted faithful thing to God, or promise to God, or to your religion, or to your whatever, that you're gonna dedicate your lives to each other, right? That amount of the promise is still there. It's just the legal part that is the part that you can now renew. Because if anything does happen, like you say, the seatbelt shit, whatever, something bad goes happen, or somebody cheats, right? Let's say you're in a marriage. The guy makes a lot of money and the girl doesn't. The guy cheats on the girl, but the girl can't. And there's a prenup, right? So the girl has to feel like, but maybe I should stay, even though he cheated on me. But I can only like survive if I stay with him financially. Or maybe she made more money, but they didn't sign a prenup or whatever, and now he cheated on her. She wants to leave, she wants a divorce, but a divorce would take a lot of her money. She would lose half her shit, versus this whole marriage license thing that would have protected them. It's like, okay, well, we don't have to get married anymore. And then... Thanks for pointing that out, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in that particular scenario, it could be beneficial, but I still think in general, it's gonna still like the separation of marriage and the ending of marriage is gonna skyrocket if that were to actually get implemented, because it gives people options legally, and it's I don't know. I don't really like. I'm still a believer of the whole, like, you know, marriage. You should only be married once. And
oh yeah,
for that to be implemented, it's like trying to give people the easy way out when things don't work out without the consequences. And for me, if that were to get implemented, and for anyone who thinks that should get implemented, like your friend, tells me that they are insecure.
Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to sell it to you. Obviously,
I know.
It's against what I originally thought too, but it's because he's seen for himself what divorce has done to people, right?
And it's also his line of work too, right? Like he has to work with like people get divorced all the time and whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's his job, so I can understand why he thinks that way.
But at the same time too, he would be giving up that income from processing these divorces. He's willing to not make as much money doing less divorce law, so that those people don't have to suffer as much. And as you said too, it's like, what was it? The consequences, right? So so you're saying the consequence of divorce is the cost? Like what's the consequence of divorce?
The consequence of divorce would
or
be...
you mean the consequence of wanting to separate? Is that what you mean?
Wanting to well, I guess a little bit of both, but it's like the consequence would be you getting the short end, whatever that may be. Like whether it be you have to give up half of your whatever, or you have to keep providing for the other person, or whatever it may be. Like it's just something that you are bound to because you decided to go through with separation.
I'm gonna ask, you said if this was implemented, you think that more people would separate their marriages than currently divorce exists. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
And so you're saying then that those people who would feel more free to break up a marriage, to take advantage of the fact that they should be stuck when they don't want to be?
No. Then that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if that were the case, then they can.
If it was still divorce, but they didn't want to be together anymore. Let's just say they didn't want to be together anymore. They're unhappy, right? After not even cheating. Let's just say they got married at 23. They're young, and then they're just different people at 28, and they just they don't like each other anymore. They're not happy. You think divorce is a mechanism, the cost of divorce is a mechanism to help keep them to stay together, to work it out?
for some people, yes, it is.
Okay. I mean, I
And
don't
is
disagree.
that a
Yeah.
good thing? I don't know. I don't know. It could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. It depends. But it is definitely going to be something to kind of just make them rethink. It's like, oh man, like, is this really worth getting a divorce? You know, compared to say like, hey man, one more year and then I'm free. Like, it's something. It's yeah. I just that's why
It
I'm saying
it
it'll
also
be higher.
it also exists too, where a lot of people separate without even getting divorced, so they avoid the cost of divorce, but they're not even, they consider themselves separate anyway. They move out, they live separate, and that exists too. And divorce doesn't deter that from happening. They're still married, but they're not together.
Yeah. That's their choice, right? Like if they decide to do that, if they mutually agree to not go through the whole legal process of doing that, then yeah, sure. Well, I mean, that's on them. It's their life.
I mean, that's fine.
Really, like a lot of divorce lawyers, like they try to get their clients to like slander the other party like really bad, so they can just like take everything.
Take more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they're,
that's their
that's part of the payment, right?
yeah, you can't. I mean, yeah, but it sucks. But like, that's just part of their job. That's what they're meant to do for their like their job is to do the best for their client, regardless of what kind of like shitty person they are. You know.
Man, I was
I
going through like I was going through like a bad breakup like 2 years ago. To make myself feel better, I would go on Reddit and I would just read stories of like divorced dudes. Like, holy shit. Fuck this. Yeah, man. If you ever just like want to feel better one day, just go on one of these Reddit threads of like divorced people and just like read what these people do with each other. It's crazy.
So, do you have any feedback on the idea of marriage renewal? Not just vow renewal, but marriage. Would you rather keep divorces or get rid of divorces altogether?
I think the option of having a divorce is like important. It's like it is necessary in some situations, right? You know, like abuse and stuff like that. Like I think it's necessary. I wouldn't get rid of it.
No, but
I just think
with this new form of marriage where you need to do it every 3 or 5 years, you don't need to get divorced. At 3 years, you could just be like, you know what, this isn't working out.
Oh,
Separate.
that's what you mean by the marriage renewal? Sorry,
Yeah.
I was actually semi distracted like a couple of minutes ago because I was looking for the Drake album, but apparently it's not dropping till 2 a.m. This fucking sucks.
No worries. No worries.
The
Basically the angle
renewal.
was the fact that divorce is expensive and it's very destructive for individuals. So he came up with this to be like, it protects people from, if some people change and they still want to stay together and they want to work it out, that's great. They're gonna, at 3 years they'll renew, at 5 years they'll renew.
So like,
But if they don't,
seems like a
then they
lot of
don't.
work. Like, why don't like we can already have something like that without having like a marriage renewal system. Like we could just be common law, or we could just say, hey, like we love each other, let's just be together.
Yeah.
Not like be married. Like that isn't that proposal that he made doesn't really like. I get the intent of it, but it seems like kind of counterproductive. If we're like gonna be
That's what DayDay
married,
said. Yeah.
if we're gonna be married, it's like this is a long term thing. You know, you might as well just be my girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people might be like, why are we married? We don't need to be married anymore. And then maybe they get married for the whole, they're happy being boyfriend, girlfriend, but maybe their parents wanted them to get married or whatever. And then after 3 years, well, yeah, we can stay together, but let's not be married anymore. That's an option too. It's basically just to replace divorce. Because divorce happens and exists and it's expensive and destructive, it's just a means to replace divorce. So divorce doesn't have to be a thing anymore. It doesn't change any dynamic between any people in a relationship. I think. Like if I'm gonna marry someone, I'm gonna promise my life to them. At 3 years, I'm still gonna think the same way. You know, like it's not like, oh wow, now I can have an out. I feel like if I made that promise on the wedding day, I'm still not gonna be
Uh,
3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. You know.
I don't know. I feel like even just the element, even introducing that element of, hey, this is a 3-year thing, just like change the constitution of what that relationship is. Like, it
Yeah,
wouldn't feel
that's what Daddy said.
so, it wouldn't feel so like serious. It would just be
It
like
won't feel
this.
as like a promise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I promise to be with you forever for 3 years. It's like-
No, because again, it's only the state. It's not the church. When you get
It's
married,
only the state. It's not the church. What does that mean?
so in the eyes of the church or God or your religion, you're making a promise for life. But in law, the only part where the city is involved, where you actually have to go and sign like the marriage license, that part of it, that's the only part that has to happen every 3-5 years or whatever. But the promise is still there, for life in the church. The church sees that as like this, but your legal obligation is only 3 to 5 years that you can renew every 3 or 5 years. Again, the only purpose, because obviously the church doesn't recognize divorce either. The church doesn't recognize divorce anyway. So that's it. It's just another state way, like the city way, to replace divorce and have it less expensive and have it less destructive for the person separating. That's the idea. I'm not saying I fully agree with it. I do see a lot of merit there. I don't know yet what I think, but I do lean towards the forgiveness aspect of it, of like two people, let's say, who just grow apart and they hate each other. They just hate each other and they can't stay together. I don't think they should necessarily feel like they have to be trapped, or they have to pay a lot of money so they can break up their wedding or their marriage to the city, according to the law, just for the formality of not wanting to be together anymore. They have to spend a lot of money.
I mean, if that's the case, they can always, stick to that other option where they don't go through the title and then they just separate, right? Like, that's an option too, no? Like you
They
said.
they don't get married at all.
No. But they don't go through divorce, but they just separate anyway.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
that's an option.
but you can't get married again.
Yeah, you can have your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, but what if they want to get married again?
Then that's something.
I think you can only marry again if you're divorced, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if they want to get married again, then that's something that you have to decide.
Yeah. Then you have to be like, okay, well, we have to get divorced so that I can get this tax break with my new partner. These tax incentives with my new partner, right?
Mhm.
All right. Are we all kind of in agreement though that
would
like,
you,
yeah?
you guys, would you at this, wait, did you in a relationship right now?
Yes.
How long?
It'll be 5 soon.
Is she listening?
No, I have
5
headphones
days.
on.
5 days.
But
Uh,
I
You're of
am,
of the stance that you would be getting one or wouldn't be.
me. No, I wouldn't.
FJ?
Sorry.
You
What
were
was the
to
question?
FJ, if you were to like meet someone now and like you think you guys hit it off and you see yourself as a potential like couple together, like you seriously see like you guys have a lot of compatibilities, checks a lot of boxes. What would be your approach? Would you want one or would you not?
Oh, marriage?
Prenup.
Oh, prenup. Yes.
Yes.
Yep. I want to get married and I would want to sign a prenup. Yeah.
Now, if this was okay, what was your longest relationship?
Me?
Yeah.
7 years.
If you say you guys were still together, would you get one?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's not like I feel like I need one. I like I think it's I still get that irk to what Sharon mentioned earlier. I'd be sad to have to sign it. It's kind of like that negative aspect of like, oh, we don't need this, but I guess just in case. And it's like a little hit on the ego. And I feel like that needs to go. It's like a stigma. I think it's a stigma right now with the idea of prenup, and I don't think it needs to be there anymore. It shouldn't be. It should just be like another thing that people do. It should just be a normal thing that people do. It shouldn't have to be a conscience thing.
I guess like I'm wondering if like the length of the relationship changes that. If that's an element, if that's a tangible element of it, because like the longer you guys are together, like okay, sorry, let me put like earlier you guys started, say like you guys started dating in high school. Now you're both fucking 45, married with kids.
Yeah.
I don't think it would make sense to get a prenup then, because like what would you have like built separately at that point in time? It's like you guys would literally build your lives together, you know?
Oh,
I think
wait.
in that situation.
Sorry, were they together the whole time?
Yeah, I'm saying like from high school.
Yeah.
That
They got
happens,
married.
like,
They got married at what point though? After kids?
No, like they got married fucking like shortly after they graduated university or something.
Well, then no, you can't sign a prenup after, can you?
You cannot sign prenup. It has to be before.
Yeah. It's you
Prenup
can only
is
sign a
meant
prenup
for before marriage.
Marriage.
Okay,
Yeah.
so sorry. Okay, so let's say we're together at fucking 16. We got married at like 27.
Okay.
You know, at 16 they didn't really have any wealth or anything. They were both still living at home. Would have built a life for themselves at that point. Your point of eliminating the stigma now with that situation doesn't make sense to have a prenup.
I don't even know why divorce is half-half. I feel like I'm sorry. Yeah, why when you enter a marriage is it just automatically assumed that divorce would be half-half? I think a prenup was like a reactionary answer to divorce. But like when I enter a marriage, divorce isn't even in the picture. So it's like I feel like a prenup shouldn't even like the auto prenup idea. Why was it ever created? I feel like divorce should have been what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine. Why is it half-half? You know, like if this person earns more money and makes more money and has more assets and then they get divorced. Yeah.
I think the reason why is that's not the way it is because that's how marriage and divorce has been. And then people realized like there's some cases where it's like really bad for the one particular person and not the other. So they probably created like prenup didn't exist the entirety of the history of marriage existing, right? So
even divorce, yeah.
And you can't really change, and you can't change midway and be like, okay, from this year on, divorce means this half, because then now you have people who have the old divorce versus new divorce, and it's like it's all giant mess.
Well, there's old marriage and new marriage too. The old marriage used to be the dowry between two families. Now new marriage is two people deciding to unite as together, just the two people. Apparently, we looked it up. Marriage existed for 600 years, and then divorce was invented.
Oh, okay.
Like when marriage was invented, it took 600 years before the first divorce was invented.
So you think if next year, all of a sudden, Canada and USA said, okay, from this year point on, 2022, starting 2022, January 1st, any couple that gets married after that, if you get divorced, it's 50-50. You think there's...
Or less?
You think... Huh?
Not 50-50, you mean, right? You mean...
Oh, sorry. Yeah, not 50-50. It's all like separate, whatever. If that were to like all of a sudden become a law next year...
Yeah.
Would you feel bad for people who got married this year?
Would I feel bad for them?
Damn.
No. because they
You
all went
wouldn't?
in.
I
Well,
would.
they all went into the marriage. They just got married, right? It's the first year, so they're not
Yeah.
even thinking divorce anyway.
Okay, fair. Okay, maybe not like this year, but like maybe like 2 years ago or 3 years ago or something. Like you get my point. The point I'm trying to get at is like
Right. Why don't they
I
just
would
get
still
rid of
feel bad.
divorce and renew the
Yeah.
marriage every 3 to 5 years? There you go. Solved. Problem
Oh
solved.
man.
Well, like,
That's funny. Or they implement auto prenup. Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's the
I
same
think that's a
thing.
great
Auto
idea.
prenup is the same.
Netherlands is doing things right. That's
They should
that's the way I
just
see it.
get rid of divorce. But then if you have to get rid, there's the legal out, right? That's why I think it's stupid how why does law have to be involved with a faithful uniting? Why was there a tax break for a family with kids? Why? Like why does the government need to be a part of a unity between two people in love? You know what I'm saying? That's it. Like why was it ever invented that way? Like church and state were separate and then it became together. What are they saying? You have to renew the marriage or it expires. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Mike, if you were listening.
Our marriage is expired.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Like
It's like, yo, did you renew? It's like, no, I thought you did. And then
Are we still married?
oh my god, we got to take our G1 again or our
oh god, I have to plan the wedding again. Can you imagine? That'd be so funny.
Well, no, you don't have to plan the wedding. I'm sure there's some sort of forgiveness. Again, it's not the church's part. You got married and then the church, you had the party. It doesn't mean you have to have all of that again just to be legally married again. You just need the paper. It's just the paper. And it protects people from having to do the whole legal thing again with the paper if they want a divorce. It's just the paper. It's just the legal side. I actually don't like the fact that the government has to be involved in that, you know? Sure, tax break. Maybe that's how they got into it. They're like, ooh, if we offer them a tax break, we can take some money from them in other ways, like this marriage license, and then the officiant, and then like, you know, all the other bureaucracy stuff to get registered or whatever. Add permitted term in my ass.
No, it was just flagging me because it said in my ass. So I had to allow it. No, I'm a mod for FJ's chat. That's why.
Pause.
Um,
Typo, you ain't my husband
But-
anymore. Gotta go out.
Off topic, I'm really excited for Deji to try Korean fried chicken.
I missed the whole talk about food.
It's okay. I'll fill you in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over this VOD after and read all the chat after. Just like talk about roti and European food, and then like ex-boyfriends
best.
and
Best food you guys have had. Do you remember off the top of your head? The best meal.
I know for sure the first. Oh shit! Hold on.
First meal I ate. My mom's titties.
your mom's titties. The first
I was about to say,
memory
the
is
first
when you're
meal-
like,
the first meal I ever put my lips on. No, I have not been to Korean barbecue.
to hell with Stampot.
DayDay has left the chat.
I'm trying to think. Like, it's hard because obviously there's different styles of meals, right? I've had some pretty epic sushi, but I've had some pretty epic steak, and I've had some pretty epic pizza. Like,
Let me ask you this: if you were on death row and you had to pick a last meal, what would it be? Oh,
a last meal,
hmm?
an all-you-can-eat buffet.
It's got to be a meal. That doesn't count.
That's a meal, dude.
It's
It's one meal when you go to all-you-can-eat. Yeah, it's a meal.
I'd say drugs. Favorite
Always
Caribbean food is conch with 2 tuna French fries.
I'm gonna have to go Google that. Let's see.
Yeah, think about that one. I think about that
Okay.
sometimes.
All right, yeah. You tell me. What's your answer?
I don't know if I've. If I made a decision, it'd probably have to be some like super fire, like General Tao chicken and fried rice.
That
Like,
sounds so basic, bro.
but yo, I love that shit. Like, it have to be either that or like
I think I would do like
really good. Like,
a wagyu beef steak with like lobster, and then
this is the thing. This is the thing though, because when I think about this question, sorry, you
Mhm.
said wagyu beef with lobster.
steak, wagyu beef steak, lobster, like a surf and turf.
This is the
With-
thing that I think about. When I think about the scenario though, like if I'm on death row, that means I'm about to get executed. So like that also has I have to factor that into this meal. Like it can't be some like super heavy meal because like I'll be so nervous I'm about to die that I won't really be able to like enjoy it properly. So I figured General Tao chicken is like it's like mad flavor. It's like just get that crunch. It's like oh shit, yo, I'm ready, dog.
You don't want to
Dude, you'll
make
never.
electrocution chair too. Apparently, once after you get electrocuted, you like defecate too. So it's like
Oh, that's
It's
crazy.
gonna be messy.
Actually, that is true because your body like sphincters like they release. That's what happens to a lot of like dead people.
Yeah.
Like people that pass away, like they just like poo like oozes out. I've
Then again,
actually seen it.
Then again,
Pretty
you
gross.
just ate, so it's likely not even in your large intestines yet. So I mean, you have time.
But you're generally always like, full of shit. Well, not full of shit, but you generally always have shit in you.
Well, yeah, what's gonna come out is like your second last meal, whatever the grub was that you got in your prison cell.
Oh man, much is a big sea slug.
I mean, I think I've seen.
I know the first
I just
time I
felt like-
had longanisa, I was pretty blown away. That was really.
Just
Oh no,
Korean way for saying
not,
lasagna.
sorry, not longanisa. Sinigang.
Sinigang.
That's the,
Oh, okay.
the Filipino food. I remember the first time I had that, I was like, "What is this?" It was great. Anyway,
So what is that? What's in it?
it's like
You had that,
it's like
Deji,
the,
at
it's like the greasiest Filipino. Yeah, exactly
he-
what Ren said. It's
No,
really greasy.
no, Deji had it at Krista's when Mike made it for that potluck.
Is it the broth stuff?
That broth thing with the sour kind of tamarind taste and the ribs. Yeah,
Interesting.
So good.
I love that stuff too. I wouldn't call it greasy though, Ren. Why is it greasy? You don't add oil to it. It's just water and like.
Well,
You don't like that broth? You're not Filipino.
You're
That
not
sounds like a
Filipino.
club.
Wow, you just disown his race like that? Wow. Okay. I was thinking fried rice.
Like a club, synagogue. Yo, you reaching synagogue, man?
You gonna reach Sinigang on Friday? Sinigang gang.
Yo, synagogue.
Not
It's my
Filipino
Cine
FA.
gang.
Oh, he countered you.
Hey, yo,
He
Ren,
countered
Ren.
your
That's just
denial
not
with his
Filipino?
own denial.
Yeah, but Ren, thank
No,
you.
he is.
I appreciate
Oh, I
that,
was
Ren.
like,
Thank
what?
you.
FJ is half white.
From
You didn't know?
Miami?
Ren understands. Thank you, Ren. And you're welcome.
What? Actually, is Filipino? I thought he was Puerto Rican.
What?
It's okay. We don't want to be Filipino anyway.
Why? Filipinos are great. You guys changed my view of your entire race at Waterloo.
What you mean? How
This
so?
this
What was your
group,
view
though.
before?
This just
Dude,
this
I
group.
hated Filipinos before I went to Waterloo,
Exactly.
man.
So did I.
They were the fake ass gangsters and getting pregnant all the time. I hated that
That's
shit.
exactly. That's what I thought too.
Oh shit! This man said he hated the whole nation.
I hated the entire race. I thought they were like the lesser, like the lowest tier of Asian like race
Ooh.
ever.
I
But-
I pictured another one lower. There was someone else that was lower.
But then I met these guys, and they were really nice
Oh
people.
my god!
So I was like,
That's
oh wow,
crazy.
I was wrong. So, yeah.
Damn, yo,
Filipino,
Filipinos are
that's
so
fucked.
fertile.
Oh
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah, I thought that was like the most fucked up thing. Like, I went to Catholic school, high school. Like, one of my 4 years in high school, I went to Catholic school, and they were full of Filipinos. And
They're all
every
pregnant.
single class, they had like girls with like 2 babies. It was
Yeah.
insane.
I don't think
Oh,
that
shit.
happens so much anymore. I don't
I
know if
hope
that
not.
happens anymore. But
Wow. I didn't know it was like that.
Interception. And
Where's
then
this? This is
start
what
early.
city was this?
Everywhere.
Brampton.
Scarborough and Pickering too, and Mississauga and
Scarborough is the worst. Yes.
Shit. Well, I went to Berrien. There's like a couple Filipino people there, but they were all like cool and shit.
they were whitewashed.
They were just like cool. They were just like listen to hip hop music and were sick at basketball. And none of them were pregnant. It's just like, yo, who are these fucking guys?
Did they have an accent?
Man? No, not really. Yeah,
didn't look like
were
this?
like they would have been here. Like their parents like were like here from time and shit.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe you're talking about people that are more recently left the Philippines.
Did
In Cincelas? Did they play b-ball in Cinelas?
Chinelas.
No, but
Chinelas.
they one of them taught me this. What's the word? Baklat? Baklat? What is that?
Gay.
Oh,
Pause.
go
Baklat.
figure.
Bakla.
Everyone just always wants to teach you the "you're gay" curse word in their language.
Yeah. Mike said
F
you
word.
pronounced that good. That's good.
Oh, thanks, man.
So yeah,
Should teach you some Korean too.
just to bring it back to when you walked away, what was your last meal? DayDay, I think you answered this in a previous cast, I think.
Sinigang is up there.
Oh.
Another one would be
Hi. Hi.
what?
I don't know what that was.
It was Puss Hey.
That's not food. I thought we were talking about food.
I mean, I
okay.
guess it's a meal.
It doesn't get rid of it doesn't make my stomach full. So I don't consider that food.
I said Wagyu beef steak and lobster.
Oh yeah.
And twice
Lobster
baked
not
potato.
so much. But
What?
Wagyu, yes. And also the sushi that I had it when I went to Japan. That was pretty bombs.
Jiro sushi.
I don't know
it's
what
like-
that is,
like-
but
Oh, that guy who like has a Michelin star, or maybe 2 Michelin.
oh
stars.
yeah, they have that here. I haven't went though, but
Oh.
the one in Japan was like it was something else. It was like a different entity of sushi.
You saying like Michelin? There's like a 1 Michelin star restaurant in all of like Ontario or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
understand that.
I don't think we have anything more than 1 Michelin star.
Oh, right. Eh? Damn. And it goes up to how much? 3?
3. Yeah.
3. But the
Got the
3 ones
threes.
are like you have to book like 6 months in advance.
Oh, it says
Anyone
there
can
are
book, or you gotta
no
be like super rich.
there are no Michelin star restaurants in Toronto. I did not know that.
Oh really?
Yeah,
In Canada.
What the heck, Toronto?
yeah, it's pretty sad. But we have a lot of good places though. All right.
Do you ever miss?
Who's been to Japan?
I have with Dan and Warren.
Mike has, I think.
Dan?
Yeah, and Mike has too. Yeah.
Damn, I want to go. Where did you guys stay?
Oh shit, Deji, you want to go? Do you want to go? Do you want to go in May?
Next May?
Do you want to go in May? Yeah.
I'd be down. I'd be down, actually. Yeah, let's do it. I just want to
So-
fucking like see all the random commodities they have over there. Like they have like just random shit that just makes so much sense.
Yeah, they have a lot of random stuff for sure.
So
I
no,
feel like-
honestly, the plan is me, DayDay, Kyle, meeting up with
No,
Mike
like,
and
I'm
Sharon.
super down.
Sweet.
Super down, yo.
You got a 4th. All right.
I'm gonna
The
buy. a
plan
whole
is
bunch of merch.
May 3 to May 24.
May 3 to May 24th.
I think that was the.
You guys are. That's 3
Roughly.
weeks. You guys want to do that 3 weeks?
Yeah, I
Is
thought
that
we
too
were. I thought
long
we
or
agreed
too
on that.
little?
Didn't we agree on 3 weeks?
Is that too much or too little?
I think it's perfect.
That's a lot for just one place. I would try to squeeze in Korea somewhere in there.
Oh yeah,
Korea?
we're assuming that's part of it too. Yeah, the
Which
last
part?
week.
Part of Korea.
North.
The only part are you
Ren says it's not enough time. 3 weeks.
really? I went for 10 days and I thought it was. I mean, it was rough for sure, but we saw pretty much
Yeah.
everything we needed to see.
It's rough. How so?
What was the city that you
we tried
mentioned,
to
Dej?
because we tried to squeeze in so many things to see per day. It was pretty hectic.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to like do all that.
The
Like
three
it's like
weeks
a
and
straight type of
4
shit.
cities.
Yeah,
So
four
Ren,
destinations in 3 is a lot. That feels like a lot.
so when you say 4 cities, do you mean like 4 different like
Areas.
regions?
Tokyo, Kyoto, and what?
You went to Tokyo, Kyoto, and what were the other 2 places?
Osaka, Nagano.
Osaka's relatively close to Tokyo. I think we did 3 and 5. Yeah.
I just want to see where Han got killed, man.
Hiroshima. Oh.
Thank you for the other 5. Yeah, Ren, me, Dan, and Warren, we hit 3 locations, and then we went to Tokyo for the rest of the thing. It was crazy. Crazy busy for sure.
Hey,
That's cool.
you guys like go out to the clubs and shit.
Yeah, we went to.
Is it true that they just like
They,
they just
I
stare at
was
black people?
I was a pretty big.
They what?
I was a pretty big nuisance. I have to apologize to Warren and Dan. They almost lost me.
Really?
Yeah.
How do they like?
Because he
Okay,
was
yeah.
drunk. He was mad drunk.
I went missing. And they thought I got kicked out, and so they were deciding if they should go out or not. Because once you go out, you can't come back in.
What do you mean?
Like in there, if you leave, you can't come back in.
Huh?
Like
Yeah,
Where?
when you leave the
the
club.
club that we went to, yeah, because it's such a
Oh! I thought you meant
Yeah.
like the hotel. I was like, what?
no. Yeah,
Don't get married
Yeah,
in
like-
Japan.
like dude, that club was so huge. It had like 5 or 6 different rooms with swimming pool, skateboard park.
What?
It was insane.
Okay, we're gonna do that, right?
Oh, son, I'm bringing my board and my helmet and my Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah, and it's also
Okay.
open till 6 a.m. So
Geha?
not
Okay,
they don't close at 2 like here.
How do they feel about black people? That's important.
Well, you can go find out.
No, this
Is
is
that
like
true,
I don't know if
Mike?
you guys, I don't know if you guys like know this. Like, as black people, we actually have to be like, hey, man, do they hate black people over there where we're about to go travel? I don't know if you guys
No,
experience that.
no, dude, they have the nicest people ever.
All
Like,
bet.
they're so polite to you that you feel bad for them.
No, like I assume that about the Japanese culture because like everything I've read about them is like, is in that regard. But I just mean like generally, like with travel, that's like a thing that black people have to be aware of.
Have to ask, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey man, how are they over there? Like I heard Australia was like mad
If-
racist.
Dude, if anything,
Uh-oh.
I have the most like risk just because I'm Korean.
Traffic
In,
Bunny just
in
said there's a
Japan-
YouTuber that shows life as a black person in Japan.
Oh, really?
Apparently,
There you
Deji,
go.
you can make it as a go-go dancer in Japan.
Japanese people will want to take pictures with Deji. Nice.
I've heard about that. Like they just like look at you and shit. Hey, can we take a picture?
And you're like, that's $1. Ooh,
I
tell
just
that
pose with
guy. Hawaii.
I'm with some.
Some Godzilla merch.
Dude, you gotta go take pictures in the giant Gundam.
Oh shit, doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
We were for tennis. They were asking Paulo for pictures.
Is Paolo black?
No,
It's
he's not.
Filipino.
He's just, I guess, dark-ish.
I guess he's
Filipino.
a dark Filipino.
Just go.
He's pretty tall too.
Just go there with a. Oh wait, Yao Ming's from China. Never mind.
You can, Deji, you can trip people out by studying a bit of Japanese before going.
Oh shit! Like, huh? Jira.
They just explode.
Paulo is white skin like FJ.
Oh. Okay.
Really? I thought Paulo was dark. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know.
Cheetah. Gochida.
I should learn some Japanese, but arigato.
There are
Korekara
mixed
mina de.
black Japanese there.
I gotta learn like the pronunciation.
Yeah. Naomi
Deji,
Osaka.
you didn't hear the story. So when we went, me, Warren, and Dan split up like our roles, right? So Warren was really good with like directions and trains and stuff. So he would be the guy who would plan out like, okay, we take this train here and then go there and there, whatever. And Dan would be the planner of the whole trip. Where like, okay, today we visit this and this and this, and like, cause he's really like organized and shit, right? And I felt bad because I wasn't doing anything, so I was like, oh, I'll just be the translator, even though I don't speak Japanese. So, so I downloaded this app on my phone on the flight there, and I was like trying to study as much as I can.
Oh my
And then
God.
there was this one time where we're trying to look for Hard Rock Cafe on the because each Hard Rock Cafe has their own like shot glasses with the city written on them. And I think Dan's sister was collecting them, so we wanted to find one near, I think it was Tokyo or somewhere, I forget. And then we were asking around where Hard Rock Cafe is, and then obviously nobody understood because they don't, like, none of them speak English, right? So then randomly I just had this idea. I was like, okay, let me try something. And then I went to one of the strangers. I was like, Hard Rock Cafe, and they knew immediately where it was. They were like, oh, Hard Rock Cafe, and then they like pointed it out. It was so funny. It was so funny. We all died laughing.
Haduruka Cafe.
And I was like, I can't believe that worked.
Oh shit, that's
it
hilarious.
was so funny. Roppongi, yes, that's where it was. Yeah, it was so funny. But
I
yeah,
actually
you
love
can.
to learn Japanese. I think that language is so fire. I just
You can-
pretend to speak fake Japanese all the time.
From Dragon Ball.
I just fucking like just say random shit. And just fucking like whisper at the end.
You're so racist, guy.
Yeah, I love Japanese folk, man. Well,
Hadukeyo.
cool. Like I like the fact that they just bow. That's swag.
They
That should have been
bow to you like 5 times when you leave.
that should have been adopted like when all this COVID shit started instead of the fucking elbow shit. We should all just been like
Just bow. Oh, true. Say.
Huh?
Actually, I do that now. I just like a little bit of a nod, head nod.
it's that thing they it's like a prefix, like a name or something. They say like san.
San.
What does that mean?
Like, it's just like a formality.
Okay.
Koreishi.
Like, instead of just saying like, I guess Deji, it's like Mr. Deji. I don't know. It's
Okay.
just, it's something to elevate your
Politeness.
Respect.
yes, respect. Yeah.
Mm. Sakura-san.
Haduroku.
Haduroku kape?
Yeah.
If you want to sound Japanese, just add ru to the end of everything.
Ru.
Dejiru. Goru taku.
I just want to point out this is personal opinion of FJ and not a representation of our views on Japanese.
Kore de ru. Padaru kastaru. Brakaru kastaru. Getting racist.
Yep. It's getting racist. TOS.
What? It's already been racist. We hated on Filipinos first.
I corrected myself. You guys changed that for me, and I'm grateful. That's not hate. I mean, it was, but it's not anymore. And I'm glad it happened.
I don't actually know if that stuff happens anymore. I do remember witnessing it myself too, and I was like, is this how we are? And then I went to Waterloo and like, oh, there's more people like me. It's like, nice. Karin's up in here. Karin?
Where,
I think she means Karen's.
where's Tropic Bunny from?
Netherlands.
The Netherlands,
Oh, the
but
Netherlands.
from Curacao.
Netherlands. I was reading about the Netherlands like a while back.
Am I
Who's,
pronouncing that right? Curacao?
his name Peter Paul Rubin. Oh no, he's from. Belgium is in the Netherlands, right? Or wait, hold on.
No.
Oh fuck. I think they used to be part of the Netherlands or something.
It's
Anyway.
close.
History's fucked up.
Belgium's a country. It's next to the Netherlands, I think.
I think at one part there was like, I don't know, my history, like Tropic Bunny, feel free to shit on me. My history is fucked up, but I think there was like the northern Netherlands and then the southern Netherlands or something. And like Spain, I don't know, invaded or something. Just forget what I'm saying. I was just reading a book on Peter Paul Rubens and there was like a super interesting historical Netherlands thing there.
Curacao.
Well, I always wanted to go, man. I still gotta go. To go to Amsterdam.
North Holland, South Holland. It's pronounced Curacao.
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 Oh.
Curacao.
I got this artist friend that lives out there. We want to go like some music and stuff.
in
The artist
in
from,
in the Netherlands?
In Amsterdam.
Yeah, I want to go to Amsterdam again. I feel like I didn't really get to experience it the one time.
I've never been to Amsterdam. I want to go.
Someday
Someday.
over.
Yeah, it's like a hub to get to other places.
Visit me. Yes, and we can have
Conch
lunch.
with
Or what
tutu
are
and
the other?
fries.
I forgot the name already. I have to look it up.
What?
There was a dish that Tropic Bunny gave.
Earlier in the chat?
So, you have me as a friend on Twitch. I'm gonna get my Twitch follow.
Oh, you don't get that in the... Oh, okay. Yes? How do I add you?
Stampok?
My Twitch at Esquire was here.
Oh, yeah. Let me add that.
Add me. Follow me, damn it.
Yo, follow me too, brah.
Esquire what?
Sorry. Was here.
Was here. I don't see that.
Am I spelling that right?
Am I spelling it wrong?
Hold on. How do you spell
Probably.
it? ESQ?
Esquire. ESQ.
IR.
Esquire was here.
Is there an E after the R? No, that doesn't work either.
Okay. Just type it
Yeah.
somewhere.
I'm following you, so.
Or type something in the chat.
Oh,
and then
actually, let me follow you right now. Shit, I'm
I'll
not
see
following
it.
you. My bad.
Bruh.
Okay. Yo.
There you go.
There it is. Esquire was.
Add
That's
as
what
a
I-
friend.
That's what I typed.
Let me start adding you guys.
Why did that
Follow.
work?
I followed.
Thanks, man.
How come I
Add.
can't
I'm
go
already
to
following,
you?
right?
You're a friend, but I can't add you on.
There. I added you.
Nice.
I added from the chat. Oh, I requested. You have to approve. Okay, there it is.
No, that's my approval stuff.
There shall be no mention of stamp plot.
Stampot.
Accept.
There shall be no mention of stampot.
Accept.
What's a
This
stampot?
stamp pot.
I looked it up. It's a giant sausage.
Oh, that's the dish. Yeah, that's the dish that's the one that I wanted to try.
Dutch stampot with bratwurst.
Stamp pot. Let's see if there's any around where I live.
Is that like?
No, there's not.
Is that broccoli?
Lame.
Broccoli and potato.
You can make it at home.
Spinach.
Just mashed potatoes with
with
sausage. With greens and sausage.
Cheddar sausage.
All you need is some cocaine and some baking soda. I think I tasted egg and cinnamon.
Did you accept? Oh, you did accept. Okay. Are you following me?
Yes.
DayDay
You are?
TV.
Yes.
DayDay TV.
I don't see you
Oh,
on.
I'm not. Oh, hold on. If I have to accept and follow.
It's
Yes.
one's a friend,
shit,
the other's a
hold
follow.
Okay, hold on.
Just mashed potatoes with sausage. Oh, legit
Follow.
mashed potatoes and sausage.
Oh, there's the follow. Okay, here you go.
There's a history behind it.
Yeah,
Oh, excellent.
go.
Stem pot history.
That was really loud.
Who invented Brack again?
Or, I think it was Warren. I don't know.
People.
I think Deji's our honorary Brack guy.
Why? Because he's black? That's racist.
The most racist one. Should he be in the instead of our what is that
Profile
To
picture.
me, just my
profile
face.
picture? It's just Deji's
Wow. That's messed up, bro.
face. If you saw what it is now, it's nothing.
Right
Oh,
now
we're
it's
so
just
confused.
It's Cade. Cade.
No, we got rid of that. It's just
No, look at
black
Brack on
color
your-
now.
No, what?
Oh,
Did I-
oh, you mean on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't even notice.
I changed that a while ago.
You should change that back to just
We
something
have a
else.
Brack
solid
WhatsApp
black.
group.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
I'll
we have
recommend that.
we had a Brack, and then I think there was kind of like a split up, and then we invented True Brack.
Oh man, True Brack. Jesus.
Yo, why is Deji not on here?
Yeah, man. I'm a
Well,
True
he's
Brack.
been MIA for years.
That's true. But he's on the COD chat too, so
He's
I mean,
he's earning his colors.
he's earning his what? Okay, I'm done.
Crazy.
He's true now.
That'll be
Well,
it
that's
now.
why I asked who invented it, because I can't make that call. It would be the person who invented it.
Can't we just add in the WhatsApp chat anyway? Like regardless of who the leader is? I thought we could.
It's whoever admin is.
Oh, I'm the admin.
Well, there you go. You started True
Crazy.
Brack, man. All right.
I
He's in.
started
Plot
this? What
thins.
the hell?
Plot thins.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
you're
how do
the
I
only
add?
group admin, dude. We can't add
What the
anybody.
heck?
It's
You
crazy.
should just make us all admin.
It's Kaiser Soze. Kaiser Soze.
How do I
He's like,
make
"Yo, man."
people? Oh, I can just do this. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I didn't know.
Guy made the group and was like, "Yo, man, you guys are making True Brack. Man, how come you ain't add Deji?"
That's messed up.
What was that name you just said?
Kaiser Soze.
How do you spell
Kaiser
that?
Soze.
Usual suspects.
That's what
let
it
me
is.
see.
Got it. Yeah.
Got it?
Kevin Spacey, yeah.
Ever seen that movie? It's like a
Mhm.
popular reference for like, and the fucking mastermind is actually like just a random guy that no one suspects.
Deji, I hope you're ready because we talk about a lot of crap on the.
Well, I'm sure y'all do.
Like I if you mute the thing, I will understand.
It's all good, yo. Hold on.
I will
It's kinda
also make you
random.
group admin.
You can send
There
like
you go.
photos of the your fried chicken and stuff. we usually share what we're cooking. Or eating.
Instagram group.
Oh, the funnies. I added you to the funnies in Instagram, yeah.
There you go, Dej.
Hey.
All right.
It is
This.
all right.
And don't be offended by the icon. That's a game character.
It's from StarCraft.
I should change this. This is very offensive.
No, it's what it was based on. I just made it more black and white.
I feel like the original would have been less offensive than this. Like, you just
Well, the
you just
original
turned
is
the crank up like.
what we use for Brack. So this is true Brack. So I removed all traces of other hues.
Does he know? Okay,
But
I
true
gotta
Bra-
explain the
True
context
Brack
why.
is just hilarious.
I think I told him.
The
yeah.
reason. Oh, you know the
Did
history?
I?
Why it became Brack?
Yeah, like I remember like vaguely.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, DayDay. Go
I
ahead.
remember you told me.
So we used to play this game called StarCraft 2, and then when you do like 4v4 with people, you can choose the portrait of your, like, I guess beside your name or whatever, and there was this character named Cade, he was the only black character in the game, and
No,
we
there's
all
others.
picked the same. We all picked that character, so it was like, oh my god, it sounds so bad now that I'm talking about it.
So we
Anyway, at the
we look
time, we
like a
thought it was
crew
funny.
of,
Yeah, at the time, we thought it was funny, and we just kind of forgot about it, and then that became our thing, and we didn't want to use like the actual word black, so I think it was somebody else who suggested just change the L to R, and then
Or like how Asians pronounce it.
It's because how
yes,
No, dude, you're missing the one thing. So we 4v4, we all chose the same photo, and
yeah,
our opponent assumed we were all black people, and so they would make they made
yes,
racist comments in the
towards
game,
us, yes,
thinking that we
okay.
were all black
This is like
people
on PC.
on PC.
yeah. Mind you, this was like 10 years ago,
A decade
so
ago.
it was when we were stupid, so.
Yeah, I mean that's like.
I don't think it's racist though. I don't find anything racist about it. It's accurate. it's not like
What's accurate? What?
we picked a character. Okay?
Okay.
It wasn't, we didn't just pick the character because we wanted to make fun of the character. We're just like, yo, let's just all choose this black guy. And then we were kind of anointed and assumed by other people that we were that. And we're like, but we're not. We're Asian. So like, oh, so we're black. So
Yes.
Yeah, it's like it's
double racist.
makes sense why it would be funny. I get it.
But he's not laughing, so it's not funny.
No, he's not
No,
funny.
like
He's like,
I'm just like
Deji has left the group.
no, I don't. It's not even like that deep for me. It's just like it's whatever. Like I'm not really that like
That's a
It's
nerdy
cool.
reference. We just don't know what to change it to.
It's
If we
not
were
an
to
issue.
change
It's
it
not an
now,
issue. I feel weird at all.
should we change
Oh,
it
yeah.
to Asian spelled AZN?
No, you guys should leave it. Like it's actually like I like the name. Like it's not even that deep.
All right, see, it rolls off the tongue,
She
nice,
put it
right?
next
Yeah, that's
to
what.
I just
So
left the group. He lasted 5 seconds.
I'm still here. It's cool, man. It's not like
I ha-
malicious or anything.
I have you
So,
saved on my phone as Deji Badunde Esquire.
That's what my Bell login is.
Oh, nice. What's the origin of Esquire?
This Lupe Fiasco interview where he was talking about how like all the best rappers have two names, like a first name and a last name. It's like, yeah, like Biggie Smalls and like Tupac Shakur. And then he was like, and the interviewer was like, okay, well now people are trying to shorten their names. Like you have like Puff Daddy's changing it to Diddy or Puff or whatever. Are you ever gonna shorten your name? It's like, no, if anything, I'll extend it. And the interviewer's like, to what? It's like, oh, like Lupe Fiasco Esquire or something. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool name. I want to use that. I'm taking that.
Yoink. Something.
Nice.
And then I looked up the meaning, and like on Wikipedia, it goes back to like this it's like medieval ranking system where like Esquire is in between like knight and a gentleman. I thought that was like pretty cool. I was like,
Squire
oh, like
of a knight. Yeah.
two different, like, you know, it's like kind of like my personality. Yeah. So yeah, just kind of stuck, man. Even my mom calls me that sometimes. It's like pretty interesting.
Nice.
Pretty interesting, man. I don't feel weird about the Brack thing at all. Like, I actually am just also.
Well, yeah, dude, your
Brack
COD clan you're with us already.
and man, FJ already like explained it before, so
So
just
why
wanted
did you
you guys
do
to see.
ESQ? You did ESQXR? Was it ESQX?
That's initially like that's how I used to spell my alias out when it was like online and stuff, because I wanted like a unique spelling of Esquire, because there's a bunch of like other Esquires out there. Like it's a relatively like common, but it's a repeated name that's been used by other people, right? I just wanted my spelling to be like unique. So like once you type that in on Google, it's like I'm the first thing that pops up for like SEO purposes and stuff too.
Ah,
So I don't know, people were just like, yeah, this is cool, but like it's like kind of like hard to pronounce. I try to put it in a way that like try to say it out. It would basically kind of say Esquire.
mhm.
But I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna spell it out normally now.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, man. What's FJ stand for?
Really?
No,
That's
I
my
was
name?
trying to come up with something witty, but I couldn't.
Oh yeah, take me back to grade 3, yo. I went to class. Everyone just tried to think, oh, what can we say? It's Franz Joseph. Franz Joseph.
Franz
Oh
Joseph.
yeah, frozen juices.
Juice.
Yeah, that's what I
R-A-N-Z. F-R-A-N-Z?
Franzjosef. Franz Joseph.
Josef.
Yeah.
I should call you Franz from time to time, just to mix it up.
Don't.
Joseph. Sorry about
Like,
that.
hey, Franz.
You can call me Frozen.
Oh, so we kind of have like my like Christian name is Joseph.
Oh yeah, I've seen that somewhere.
Yeah.
Where have I seen that? Esquire Joseph. Is that Facebook? Or is that Facebook? I feel like I've seen Joseph somewhere. You have a PH though, right?
It's on yeah, that's on Facebook. It's on the Facebook.
Facebook.
All right. Calling it.
All right, we're calling. Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks, guys, for all the chat and banter and the
Yeah, I gotta go.
back and forth. Yeah, man. Deji, DayDay, if you need to go now, it's cool. Thank you, man.
Cheers,
Dej, thanks for
guys.
coming, guys. Thanks for all being in chat and taking part. We will see you next week, Thursday, 10:30 p.m. for BrackCast 34. This was 33. That was fun. Thankasaru for watching. Arigatou gozaimasu.
All right.
Later.
Chat.